Potential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
Donald Trump is now trying to make an excuse for posting this racist meme. The White House is now telling CNN's Elena Trine that a staffer at the White House made the post. The post was made at 11:30 last night. Do you really believe a White House staffer made it?
When Donald Trump thought he could insult Michelle Obama in front of millions, he had no idea Barack Obama was standing by, ready to deliver one of the most savage comebacks ever caught on camera. What started as a petty insult turned into a moment that shook every political room in America. It happened during a televised political forum. Trump was on stage talking about so-called American values when the conversation turned toward the Obamas. The moderator asked him a simple question. "Mr. Trump, how do you view the legacy of Michelle Obama as First Lady?" Trump leaned into the microphone, smirking, and said something that left the entire audience gasping. "Well, I think Michelle should have focused more on America instead of lecturing everyone about food. Maybe she should go back to Africa and help them there. I'm sure they'd love her speeches." The room froze. Gasps echoed through the crowd. Even Trump's own supporters shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Reporters couldn't believe what they just heard. Michelle Obama, sitting quietly in the audience beside her husband, just shook her head, calm, composed, but deeply disappointed. Moments later, Barack Obama was invited to respond.
Check it out. And he immediately, the first thing he did was approve the Nord Stream pipeline. And then they'd say, Mr. Congressman, oh, look who we have. Byron, stand up, please. Superstar of the future. He's already a superstar, but he's a superstar of the future. Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. He's great. He's great. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good. But we have a group of people that are really good. And I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. We always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
You can tell he just really wants to make next year's elections about immigration again. Worked for him in 24, didn't so much work for him in 18, 20, 22. You know, we just talked about how it's very hard for him to ever get to an affordability message that matches how people are feeling. And so I assume he will try to make next year about immigration, about crime, all his favorites.
In the common imagination, we think he made 2024 about immigration. But I went back and looked at the exit polls. More people listed abortion as a number one issue than immigration. Only 12% listed immigration. I think it's going to be very hard for him to make it bigger than the economy or affordability in any way, shape, or form. In 2022, inflation was about to be the most important issue. And then the Supreme Court overturned Roe. It would have to be something on that level to actually change how people feel and to raise the salience of immigration. I don't think it's just something Trump can do on his own through rallies and truce.
I went there tonight with intentionality. This was not an accident. It wasn't something that happened with spontaneity. Last year was spontaneity, but this year was intentionality. And I went there because I wanted to sit in, so that when he traversed, when he passed me, he would be in close proximity to me, so that I could show him up close that people of color are not members of the primate family. We are not apes. And he needed to have somebody say this to him. The president has surrounded himself with people who will tell him what he wants to hear. He needs to have somebody who will tell him what he needs to know. And this is why I wanted to know that I will not tolerate this. Those who tolerate racism, bigotry, this hatred, you perpetuate it when you tolerate it. I've been thrown out, as you put it, before, and I suffered consequences. So on some issues, you have to be prepared to suffer the consequences, and it's better to just stand alone than not stand at all.
What's happening to our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly because they're going into the classrooms, they're taking the seats, and they don't even speak English. It's crazy. And we have our people that aren't going into a classroom. We have students that were there last year that aren't allowed into the school this year. They're not allowed. It's crazy.
Is Trump really trying to play in our faces with this strategic messaging about Nigeria? So he just called Nigeria a country of particular concern because, in his words, Christians are being slaughtered. And he is talking about the 3,100 Christians who've sadly been killed, right? But we need to slow that right down, because when you use faith like that and you ignore the Muslims dying too, it starts to feel like their lives don't count. And more than that, it hides what's actually driving the violence, because do you really think that this is about religion? Anyway, I need you guys to stick with me so you can see what's actually going on here, right? It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China.
How did this happen, and can you really throw a staffer under the bus for this?
Well, look, Laura, it was a meme that was posted by a staffer on the president's Truth Social account. It was from a Lion King video depicting, as you pointed out, different Democrats as different animals. I think Kamala Harris was depicted as a turtle in this video meme. The president did take it down. He spoke with lawmakers today out of respect for them, including Senator Tim Scott. The post was removed. But leave it to the leftist media, of course, to talk about this all day, rather than talk about the fact that the Dow has broken over 50,000 points for the first time in our nation's history, rather than talk.
Oh, she wants to talk about the stock. You wants to talk about the economy. Oh, okay. So she thinks talking about the stock market is more important than the president of the United States posting something that's blatantly racist online. Okay, Caroline. Well, we can talk about the economy. We can talk about how grocery prices, gas prices, inflation are all still going up under Donald Trump. Nobody can buy a house. Nobody can rent an apartment anymore. She wants to have that conversation. She doesn't want to have that conversation, and she certainly doesn't want to talk about this racist post that was made by Donald Trump. Isn't it fascinating how they just so easily brush it off? Oh, it was a mistake. It was a staffer. Let's move on, kind of thing. It's gross. It's gross. Trump is still not apologizing. He says he didn't make a mistake. There's no accountability he's taking. What a joke. This administration is just such a shit show, a clown show constantly. And this was just so disgusting. This was so disgusting. So look, I will leave the...
Trump is now bombing Nigeria. What is next? Under the guise of crusades of Christian and Muslims again. Here we are again. Muslim people. The same thing again. The same garbage. Vilifying Muslim people. Fearing Muslim people when they're doing nothing. No, it's about resources. It's about Trump Gaza. It's about colonialism is now called real estate. The new real estate. Jared Kushner, Trump Gaza. Phase 2, under the bones and the bodies of dead children.